Wynn's point of view. They say marriage is a union, a bond where love is supposed to grow. But love was never part of the deal with Jungkook. I'd accepted our marriage as a matter of family obligation, but I had clung to a small hope. The hope that maybe, just maybe, we could find something genuine in each other. Jungkook's icy demeanor should have been warning enough. At work, he was my boss, ruthless and unforgiving, holding everyone, including me, to an impossible standard. And at home, he was my husband, but there was no warmth in our relationship. Just a cold, silent coexistence. I often found myself wondering if he even noticed me beyond the role I played in his life. The news of my pregnancy, however, felt like a ray of light. I'd told myself that it might soften him, that it might bring us together. So one evening, I gathered my courage, heart racing, and told him. He looked at me with those cold, unreadable eyes, and for a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of something. But that hope was crushed the second he opened his mouth. "Are you sure it's mine?" he asked, his voice devoid of emotion. It felt like I'd been slapped. "How could you say that?" I whispered, barely holding back tears. His expression didn't change. "I'll arrange for a paternity test." My world shattered in that moment. The man I was married to didn't trust me, and I was left alone with the ache of betrayal, carrying a child that would likely never know a father's love. Jungkook's point of view. I saw the pain in Yin's eyes when I asked for the test, but I couldn't help myself. Trust isn't something I give easily. In my world, people are always looking to take advantage, even those closest to me. I had seen it countless times, and maybe, somewhere along the way, I lost the ability to believe in people. Marriage to Yin was a deal, nothing more. Yet there were moments when she looked at me with something soft and hopeful, moments when I'd catch her laughing with others at work or humming to herself at home, when I felt something stir within me, something I'd buried long ago. But the news of her pregnancy, it was a shock, a threat to the control I had over my life. I needed certainty, and so I asked for the test. I told myself it was the rational thing to do, the smart thing. But when I saw her walk away, defeated, I realized I had crossed a line that couldn't be undone. Author's point of view. The silence that filled their home grew thicker in the weeks following Jungkook's cruel demand. In was left alone, her hope shattered, and Jungkook struggled to reconcile the growing guilt that gnawed at him. Neither knew how to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. In his heart, Jungkook felt a strange pull towards her, but his pride, his fears, held him back. He'd convinced himself that he was doing the right thing, keeping emotions at bay, guarding himself from weakness. Yet, deep down, he knew he'd hurt her in a way he couldn't take back. For In, each day became a struggle. She felt a terrible loneliness, bearing the weight of her pregnancy without the support she desperately wished for. In a marriage filled with broken promises and unspoken wounds, she was alone, holding on for the sake of the life growing within her. When the test confirmed that the child was indeed his, Jungkook tried to hide his relief, but he couldn't hide from the emptiness in In's eyes. She'd given up hoping for love, for warmth, for anything beyond polite duty. In's point of view. The days passed, each one bleeding into the next. Jungkook fulfilled his responsibilities, making sure we had everything we needed. He even helped prepare the nursery, and for a brief moment, I felt a spark of hope again. But I knew better by now. The walls between us had been built too high, too strong. I had to let go of the dreams I'd once clung to and face reality. Jungkook wasn't going to change, and maybe it was unfair to wish he would. One night, while rocking myself to sleep, I whispered to the child growing inside me. I promised them that I would love them with all my heart. I promised them they would have everything, even if I had to give it alone. Jungkook and I may be bound together by this child, but
we were nothing more than strangers sharing a life we never chose. JUNGKOOK's point of view. Every time I looked at Yin, I was haunted by the memory of her broken expression, the weight of my words hanging between us. I tried to push down the guilt, telling myself it was better this way, that it was better to stay in control, to keep my heart protected. But watching her grow more distant hurt more than I expected. She no longer looked at me with hope, and her smiles were reserved for everyone but me. When I'd see her talking to our unborn child, I'd feel something twist inside. I wanted to say something to make things right, but every time, the words choked in my throat.
Then one night I woke to her muffled cries. She was curled up in bed, clutching her belly, tears streaming down her face as she whispered to our child, "You'll have me, no matter what. I'll be enough." The pain in her voice was a punch to my gut, and it broke through every wall I had built. I wanted to reach out, to tell her that I wanted to be there, that I didn't know how to, that I was terrified of what I might feel. But I stayed silent, letting the darkness swallow the words I was too afraid to say. Author's point of view. Their child was born in the middle of the night, a tiny, fragile life bringing a glimmer of joy into a world shadowed by silence and mistrust. In's heart filled with love as she held her child, tears streaming down her face as she whispered promises of devotion, of unwavering love. JUNGKOOK watched from a distance, his hands trembling. Seeing In with their child stirred something in him, a feeling he couldn't name, a mixture of regret and longing. In the days that followed, he tried, in his own clumsy way, to be present, to be the father he feared he couldn't be. But he had hurt In too deeply, and her heart had closed off, her warmth reserved only for their child. In's point of view. Months passed, and I realized something. I had finally accepted the reality of our marriage. The love I'd once dreamed of from JUNGKOOK was a fairy tale, something I had to let go of to truly find peace. I focused on my child, pouring all the love I had into them. JUNGKOOK was there, yes, and he provided for us. He tried in his own way, I suppose, but he remained distant, haunted by his own walls. One night, as I lay our baby down to sleep, I turned to him, and in a voice soft and worn, I said, "JUNGKOOK, I forgive you, but I can't keep hoping anymore. We're here for our child, but that's all." He looked at me, the sadness in his eyes almost mirroring my own. "I understand," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Author's point of view. They remained together, bound not by love but by duty, by the child they had brought into this world. Their relationship was one of silent understanding, of unspoken regrets, of the love that might have been if only they'd let it. Their child grew up in a house filled with care, though the warmth between their parents was a story lost to missed chances and unspoken words. And in that quiet sadness, JUNGKOOK was left to wonder about the life he could have had, a life he'd thrown away for the sake of control, only to realize too late that love, once broken, may never fully mend. With the foundation of trust rebuilt, In and JUNGKOOK embark on a journey to understand each other in ways they'd never tried before. JUNGKOOK is still learning to express himself, to let down the walls he'd spent years hiding behind. In, though still hesitant, finds herself moved by his genuine efforts. They start to share little moments, morning coffee, shared glances, inside jokes. Slowly, the awkwardness of their past is replaced by something deeper, more intimate, and they discover a new side of their relationship that they both cherish. As they adjust to life with their new child, both In and JUNGKOOK face unexpected challenges. One struggles with self-doubt, wondering if she's a good enough mother and if their relationship can withstand the pressures of parenting. JUNGKOOK, seeing her struggle, steps up in ways she never anticipated, supporting her with patience and empathy. For the first time, they learn to rely on each other's strengths, building a support system that makes them stronger together. JUNGKOOK learns to voice his appreciation, reminding In daily of her worth, and she realizes that she isn't alone in her fears or her dreams. While their love grows, unresolved issues from Jungkook's past resurface, bringing memories of abandonment and betrayal that had shaped his mistrustful nature. Unable to ignore these wounds, he opens up to In, sharing the pain and fears he had always kept hidden. In listens, understanding him in a way he never expected, and she holds him through the vulnerability he'd long buried. With her, Jungkook finds peace in letting go of his past, finally allowing himself to move forward with love, trust, and a renewed commitment to their family. As their family flourishes, Jungkook faces new challenges at work, juggling the responsibilities of fatherhood with the demands of being CEO. Win, still his dedicated assistant, supports him through late nights and stressful projects, but she also begins to seek her own path, yearning for a career that fulfills her beyond her role as wife and mother. Encouraged by Jungkook, In takes a leap, deciding to pursue her own dreams. Though it requires patience and compromise, they learn to balance ambition with family, cheering each other on as they grow both individually and together. Time flies, and their child reaches each new milestone with pride and excitement. From first words to first steps, each moment is a reminder of how far they've come as a family. In and Jungkook share their child's laughter, their challenges, and the sleepless nights, building a treasure trove of memories. For every moment they celebrate as parents, they also grow as partners, realizing that the life they've created is even more beautiful than they could have imagined. For their anniversary, Jungkook surprises In with a trip to the place they first met, hoping to rewrite the memories that were once filled with tension and mistrust. They laugh over the awkward encounters that marked the beginning of their relationship, reminiscing on how much they've changed. As they walk hand in hand, Jungkook takes the opportunity to renew his vows to In, promising to continue loving and supporting her. In, moved by his sincerity, realizes just how deeply their bond has grown, and they return from the trip more in love than ever. In and Jungkook decide to build a new home together, one that reflects the warmth and joy of their family. The project becomes a labor of love, filled with choices that reflect each of their personalities, and they pour their hearts into making it perfect. As they decorate the nursery, design the kitchen, and pick out tiny details together, they realize that this home represents not just a new chapter but a testament to their journey. With every wall they paint and every room they design, they cement the life they've built together. Life tests them once again when Jungkook faces a crisis at work that threatens their financial security. The stress strains their relationship, but unlike the past, they face it side by side, leaning on each other's strengths. Ian steps up, becoming his confidant, supporting him with unwavering trust, and he finds renewed strength in her loyalty. Together, they weather the storm, learning that their bond is unbreakable no matter the challenges they face. Their child grows older, curious, and eager to learn about their parents' love story. In and Jungkook share the story of their journey, the lessons they've learned, and the strength of their commitment. They watch with pride as their child learns the importance of love, trust, and resilience. For In and Jungkook, seeing their child reflect their values is the ultimate reward, a symbol of the life they've built on a foundation of love and forgiveness. Years later, surrounded by family and friends, In and Jungkook celebrate their love with a vow renewal ceremony. They stand together, proud of the life they've created and the bond they've strengthened through countless trials and triumphs. In each other's eyes, they see the journey they've taken, a love story born from hardship, but strengthened by resilience and trust. As they share a kiss under the sunset, surrounded by the family they've built, they know that this is their forever, a happiness they fought for and won together.